Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Right Side. Doug Billings here. Hey, today, have you heard of them? The N.E.A., the National Education Association, the largest union of teachers in America, and also the largest conglomeration of kooks that you'd ever want to see. As a former teacher, I can tell you, these people do not have your kids and their learning at heart. It's not in their best interest. These people are communists, and they are out to transform America any way they can away from decency. Today, I'm going to expose them. I'm going to show you what the transgender movement is doing to this union, what they're doing to your children, and how they are trying to convince them that there's a multitude of genders, not just two. You can be binary, fluid. You don't even have to be a human gender. You can be a gender of whatever you choose. Today on this program, I expose the N.E.A. and what it means to your children and your grandchildren. The Right Side with Doug Billings, ladies and gentlemen. It is now upon you. Are you ready? Let's go.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hey everybody, my name is General Mike Flynn, and I'm here to do a big shout out for my great friend and one of the best in the business, Mr. Doug Billings. Right Side with Doug Billings, Right Side with Doug Billings. Doug is the future of the airwaves when it comes to independent broadcasters and podcasters. He is the new Rush Limbaugh. He's exactly what America needs right now, looking for honesty, looking for wisdom, looking for truth, looking for patriotism. Listen to Doug Billings at Right Side with Doug Billings. God bless you and God bless America, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are winning. We're winning, winning, winning. Welcome to The Right Side with Doug Billings. Are you ready?
We are not liberal snowflakes who melt away in the face of tragedy, adversity, and challenge. We are a covenant nation under God, and His divine providence is not dead and it's not gone. It is living within each and every one of you. And you will bring it to life in such a way that the world has never seen before. We never back down. We never give up. We march forward.
All right, folks, welcome to The Right Side. Thank you very much for joining me. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's been reinstated. I got a letter. Hey, Doug, we're sorry. We canceled your show, your channel by mistake. Right. Yeah. And I spent 4 years in YouTube jail. I am free. I'm back on YouTube. Head over there at The Right Side, Doug Billings. At The Right Side, Doug Billings. You'll see the channel over there. Welcome to The Right Side. Subscribe to it. Set notifications so that you get new content like this when I drop it. Today, I'm going to tear apart the National Education Association and their radical agenda and uncover for you the shocking documents that were just revealed with regards to their training of our teachers and their influence over our children. These documents are all about advancing the LGBTQ kook movement, as I call it, and a training event that is scheduled for next month, December 2nd through the 4th. It is not education, ladies and gentlemen. This is woke brainwashing at its worst or at its best, depending on how you look at it. This is pushing gender chaos to our kids. And remember, the word chaos is important because that's what the radical liberal movement want in this country. Look at everything that the radical left movement has tried to put forward with regards to policy, politics, and procedure. All it causes is chaos. George Floyd riots, the mask mandates, the jab, the wreckage and the closing of our economy during a pandemic that was nonsense, taking away your personal liberties and freedom, trying to squelch the Second Amendment, opening up the border, probably the greatest example of chaos in the history of mankind, failure to prosecute violent criminals, instead letting them go back out on the streets. All of that stuff is part and parcel of evidence of the obvious that these people want chaos. There's no other conclusion that we can draw. And so this pushes the chaos to our kids, what I'm going to talk about with you today. Vilifying us conservatives, turning classrooms into activist boot camps, not places of learning and education. And it's the reason why kids can't read in America. So I'm going to dive deep into this because I'm angry. I used to be a high school teacher. I have a master's degree in curriculum and instruction. This is a key revelation of how they are bashing us, and they are calling us members of an insane asylum. And the implications for our children and our society are deep, wide, and we have got to be able to fight back through the ballots, through the voting, and through our voice. From a conservative perspective, this is the left infiltrating our institutions of education. Now, they've been at this for a long time. They're influencing our educational system is nothing new, folks. You know that. The radical left socialist movement in America got started taking over our educational institutions in the late 1800s, 1896 to be exact, with people like John Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, and John Dewey, all who did great as capitalists and took advantage of a capitalist society to make millions of dollars, but all three who were personally avowed socialists. They promise a next generation of some sort of utopia. This is what the socialists always promise. We're going to build you a utopia. Well, I'm going to explore why that kind of nonsense hurts our kids, why it divides families, it divides America, and I'm going to try to rally you to take action with me because our future depends on reclaiming our educational systems in this country. I'm going to lay it out for you. Okay, these documents that were exposed by the heroes at an organization called Parents Defending Education. They revealed that the National Education Association, the N.E.A., it reveals their blueprint for radicalism. It's the largest teachers union in America. It's got 3 million members, ladies and gentlemen, under the leadership of Becky Pringle, and they are hosting this training to, quote, advance the LGBTQ plus justice that we need in this country. Sounds innocent? No, hardly. It's packed with guides on gender transition at work using the Cornell University's Transgender Guide to Transitioning and Gender Affirmation. Tips for coming out. Oh, yeah, right. That's just what we need. Changing your appearance, navigating bathrooms. Oh, yeah. And it gets even worse. They are promoting what is called the gender unicorn. Now, I had not really heard a lot about this until just a couple of days ago. The gender unicorn is a coloring book activity that shatters, for the liberal mindset, it shatters the binary truth of male and female, teaching kids gender is a spectrum. Identity, expression, assigned sex, attractions, all are fluid, ladies and gentlemen, and they're up for grab. Right. And the goals of this, and ladies and gentlemen, just because I'm making fun of them doesn't make it less frightening. What I just said to you is frightening. What that agenda is, it's horrific. The goals are they want to establish an understanding, they say. Since when has a radical left group wanted understanding? They don't want understanding. They want you to do as they say, or they will cancel you. An understanding of LGBTQ plus identities. Develop counter narratives. Because we need to, and this is right from their training, right from the documents, we want to create and counter the anti-LGBTQ plus policies that we see from the right. We want to confront biases, and we want to dismantle what they call oppression. See, our truth, the universal truth, the truth of God, the truth of providence to them is oppression. I want to be clear that you understand that. This is indoctrination 101. It prioritizes ideology over reading, over writing, over arithmetic. This is why our kids are lagging in reading. They're lagging in math, science, globally. But the N.E.A. wants them coloring unicorns to question their biology. And of course they do. They bash conservatives in this. It's outrageous, but they do it. They label us as quote unquote villains. That's their language in these documents. We are villains. And we are villains in their race, class, gender narrative. That's what they say. They say that the right side, us conservatives, we exploit ignorance about transgender people to advance anti-trans attacks using race dog whistles and transphobic tropes. Republicans, really? We're motivated, according to them, we're motivated by raw power, by erecting barriers to families and freedoms. Really? Now, ladies and gentlemen, gaslighting and projection are what they do well, and that's what that is. They claim we've turned an anti-transgender rhetoric into a powerful weapon. We are an arsenal of racist dog whistles. Huh. So you see, you can't stand up for God. You can't stand up for individual rights. You can't stand up for the barbaric agenda that they have with regards to mutilating children's bodies. And they defend critical race theory. They say that the attacks on them are based out of fear. We mobilize our base with racist and transphobic mixes of verbiage and yes, and we can no longer ignore it. The trans movement in sports was in these documents. They admit that their base is susceptible to arguments about protecting girls' sports. So we have to counter that with race-forward stories to reduce those attacks through public education on trans people. Projection, again, folks, at its finest. They are the villains. They are turning schools into far-left insane asylums while calling us the crazies. Transgenderism does not exist. To say that is not a hate speech item. It is a fact. There are two genders. You cannot be transgender. You cannot have 72 different genders. Genders are not fluid. You cannot be the gender of an animal or something that's not human. There are two genders. So transgenderism is a myth. And those that perpetuate it like this and those who believe that it is are now the victims of mental disorder. Now, this group that I mentioned, Parents Defending Freedom, a heroic group, and Erica Sanzi from that group nailed it. She said, and I quote, the N.E.A. vilifies half the country. Their federal charter is no longer defensible. Revoke it. If Congress granted it to advance teaching, they should revoke it because this group is destroying education. And she's right. From a MAGA perspective, this is the left's long game. They want to continue to take over our educational institutions. And remember, they got started in the late 1800s with John Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, and John Dewey. They brainwash kids to accept that gender is fluid somehow. This is gender confusion. It's cruel. It's child abuse. Critical race theory. Big government is normal. Yes, the big government should control everything that we do. And the big government is the only thing that can save us in times of chaos. So they start more chaos. That's what they do. They start the chaos to try to convince the susceptible that we, the big government, is the only solution. And all of that erodes traditional family values, which is to say, it erodes traditional Christian values. And the implications here, ladies and gentlemen, devastating. Kids suffer mental health crises from this ideology. You have seen it. Pushed into doubting their own God-given bodies, leading to irreversible decisions, brutality, like hormone therapy or surgery, the mutilation of children's genitalia because Johnny or Susie feels they were born into the wrong gender. That is barbaric, and it needs to be called out. I understand that's horrific language, but ladies and gentlemen, it needs to be said. And you know, more politicians out there running for office ought to say it like that. Schools have become activist boot camps and hubs. They're not learning centers anymore. Test scores are in the toilet. Absenteeism is up because they've got woke fatigue, and they don't really have to do anything. For God's sakes, they can go take a nap in the safe room that they've set up at the schools during finals week. Depression is up. Suicide is up. All of this is part of the radical liberal desire and purposeful pursuit of chaos. And you know who it hurts the most, ladies and gentlemen? The people who the radical left movement claim to want to help the most. It hurts the minorities the most. Low-income kids who need skills for jobs. They don't need pronouns, you guys. And it all gets tied to their broader radical plan, like the socialism that we just condemned, right, in the House of Representatives. It all grooms kids for dependency on the state. Just sit at home. The government, little Johnny, little Susie, the government is going to take care of you. And when you grow up, just like what you saw your dad, your mom, your uncle, and your aunt do, you can just sit on your front porch and drink Schlitz malt liquor all day and smoke products that you bought from the neighborhood dispensary. That's what we want for you. We just want you to be a zombie. We want you to be lazy and do nothing and take care of you. We'll take care of you. Just as long as you vote for us, of course. Here, speaking of that, take this and give it to the guy in the white van over there. This is a ballot. And by the way, here's a whole box of them. Fill them out. Give them to that guy when you're done. Thank you very much. Free stuff was waiting for you. Thank you. I mean, that's really what it's all about. In history, you know, I used to work. This story interests me on a couple of levels. One is because I want to save the Republic and I want to save our kids from this horror show. I used to be a teacher. I have a master's degree in education. I also worked in corporate America for 23 years in human resources and was the director and then became vice president of labor relations, negotiating collective bargaining agreements with unions. So I understand what these unions are all about, how their politics is, what their membership is like. There was a time when unions once fought about fair pay and working conditions, but now they're so far left, like Randy Weingarten, pushing masks and closures and wreckages of economies, taking away graduation and school from kids, making sure that a kid has available access to a scalpel so they can mutilate their body, only later to reject and be mortified, depressed, and suicidal. All of that is what unions have become in education. And this training that has been discovered is normalizing confusion. And they do it on purpose for the chaos and for division of families, division of America, to weaken America. And the solution is we the people. And 9 times out of 10, my friends, we the people are the solution to every problem in America. We fight back hard. Now that means, now radical liberals go, Billings said fight back. That's violent. Oh my gosh, he's going to cause people to be killed. We know that Republicans, when we say fight back hard, we know that means at the voting booth by getting involved. And that's it. The hard work of it all. Determined patriotism, as I call it. Education policies from the Trump camp. We've got to work for banning gender ideology. We've got to fund merit-based teaching. Get rid of tenure. Cut federal strings from promoting this nonsense, and executive orders to defund the unions in schools who don't get on board. Parents, there's a whole list of things we can do. Demand transparency from your schools and your school board, from your teachers, from your administration. Attend school board meetings, please. Your presence is fantastic. Your ability to speak up at a meeting is it's gold. If you're embarrassed, if you're shy, use notes, bring notes, but speak at these meetings. And then you know what else? If you're really industrious and ambitious, look up Title IX. It all has to do with women's sports, women's equality, and begin to sue your schools who begin to let boys, biological men, play in either high school or college girls' athletics. Support school choice vouchers to empower families to starve the public schools, for a lack of a better term, starve them of the funds that we usually give them until they reform. And you yourselves talk about ambition, run for school board. Please consider it. Vote conservative, show up to vote, even in off presidential elections, and boycott this group, this N.E.A., all of their events. Speak out against them. Because if they push this, lawsuits will begin to explode in our favor. States like Florida already banning this kind of nonsense. Where are the governors in Kansas? Where are the governor candidates in Kansas? Why do we always have to mimic other states in Kansas? Do you live in a state like that? There's not 8 or 9 people running for governor in Kansas. None of them have anything to say about these kinds of things until election season, and especially if they're running for governor. That's the problem of the deep state. Trump has begun the work. We need to do it. The Department of Education will go away. It can't happen overnight. There are many of us who wonder about that. It's going away, and he's dismantling it. You can't deconstruct a mammoth like that overnight. But the broader impact is that we reverse the declining scores in American schools with our America First drive. Real history taught in our schools, with civics, teaching them how government works, financial courses, financial responsibility, financial maturity classes, if you will. Get rid of the critical race theory. Get rid of the woke DEI nonsense. Patriotism over pronouns. Get back to what the founders wanted in our curriculum. Discipline, math, arithmetic, science, physical education, the arts, civics in addition to history, and philosophy. Very important. Philosophy teaches us how to be critical thinkers. And of course, yes, the founders intended the Bible and theology to be part of those curriculums. So let's do that and support groups like Moms for Liberty. Look up in your community. I get nothing for saying that, but I know that they're a good group. Find one, Moms for Liberty, support them. They are on the front lines with regards to this kind of stuff. And this kind of stuff that is being taught to our kids ties in directly to the uptick in violence that we see from the left and their rhetoric that fuels division and paints us as bigots while at the same time confusing our kids. The good news is that we're winning. We really are. Backlash is building up. We just saw the House condemn socialism officially. So we continue to pray for our educators, the educators who resist this nonsense. They're the heroes as well. And let's continue to expose unions like the N.E.A. as the radical machines that they are. And let's reclaim education for truth, not bigotry and not myth. Stay strong out there, America. Our kids need you. Get involved. Seriously. It is the work of determined patriotism. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, please, at The Right Side Doug Billings. At The Right Side Doug Billings. The channel itself is called Welcome to the Right Side. You can't miss it. Subscribe. It's free. It's free. And then enable your notifications so that you can see the content when it's dropped. And then also, I have a website, DougBillings.us. I never charge you to watch this program. Never. It's always given to you for free. But it does cost money to produce. So I'm asking everyone to prayerfully consider setting up a $5 a month recurring donation over there at DougBillings.us. Set it up, recurring $5 a month donation. Very simple to do. $5 a month. That way we can continue to bring you this kind of truth free of charge. Because, you know, as I say, my friends, and I mean it, we're in this together. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the set of my show, Doug Billings. Hey, my good friends at EMP Shield, that's electromagnetic pulse, in case you're from Raytown, Missouri. Electromagnetic pulse could wipe out your home electrical system, could wipe out your vehicle. And thanks to the radical liberal agenda that was put forth under Administrator Biden and Vice Pretender Harris, there are lots of people in this country who want to do us harm. And maybe an EMP device would be their chosen weapon. But EMP Shield gives you a device that can protect you. This little baby here goes on your home outlets, a computer, a router, whatever you want to protect. And then they also have a larger model like this. You can still hold it in the palm of your hand that goes on your vehicle battery so that you can get out of trouble from point A to point B. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug, ladies and gentlemen. Save yourself, save your property. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug. We're in this together, folks. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.